Welcome everyone to the new and improved Time for Tech. These weekly episodes are here for you to get all your tech news in one place. News from smartphones to computers and electric cars will be featured every week. Timestamps on the video are provided in case you want to skip the current story and move along. If that sounds interesting to you, please enjoy the first new and improved Time for Tech episode, next on Tech Device News. The show will start off with Tesla news after the EV automaker released a new software update with many new features. The three main ones being about the suspension, Powerwall, and also open vehicle notifications. The suspension update allows users to view what all the tires are currently riding at and doing in real time. There are also many new dampening settings, so then you can adjust how firm or soft you want your vehicle to ride, as well as being able to adjust the ride height more specifically. The Powerwall update will pause charging to your vehicle if it detects a power outage has occurred. This is done to save power for your home instead of using it all to power up your car. If, for example, you do need to continue charging your car, you can set that to resume. The last part of the update adds a new feature called Car Left Open Notifications. This feature is exactly how it sounds. If any doors or windows are open for over 10 minutes, a notification will be sent over to your phone so you don't drain your battery or have water from rain get inside the car. Those were the main new features that were added to Teslas recently. I feel that more cars should add that last feature, but if your vehicle doesn't have an app, then there's no real way to notify you. Apple has some bad news for us this week. Well, only bad if you want a Silicon MacBook Pro, because there's been some speculation that the hardware won't be ready for September or October launch. It might still come out, but Apple would most likely want to hold an event for their first silicon-based MacBook, which is a big step for them as they move away from Intel CPUs. And there's also a possibility that Apple will quietly launch the MacBook like a spec refresh instead of the whole new product. Going back to the electric car news, Lucid Motors just revealed that their first car, the Lucid Air, will get an EPA estimated range of 517 miles. This is one of the highest ranges out for an electric car. It makes sense to have an electric vehicle that doesn't want to have to stop for a while. The main question that still remains with all these new electric car rivals is what charging network they're going to use when they eventually do run out of power. Tesla has their widespread supercharger network, and everyone else is currently relying on other third parties to fulfill that void. However, Microsoft is trying to fulfill the void of foldable smartphones with their new Surface Duo. This device has one camera on the entire phone, two screens on a 360-degree hinge, and last year's processors and specs. How much for this weird take on a foldable? $1,400. You know what else you can do with $1,400? Buy a Galaxy S20 Ultra, two iPhone 11s, buy a MacBook Air, and an iPhone SE with still money to spare? This clearly isn't a device that Microsoft expects to sell a lot of, but is more of a proof of concept. For that, it's cool in its own special way. What isn't cool to a lot of people is how OnePlus is designing their next OxygenOS update to resemble the likes of Samsung's One UI Android skin. This was easily found in the Android 11 beta for OnePlus devices because most of the top third of the screen is used for large headers, while the lower two-thirds are for interacting with the device. There's a reason why Samsung does this. It makes the usability of the phone easier, but some people are opposed to the idea of OnePlus also switching up the design with new icons and wallpapers that are less like stock Android. OnePlus has built their software based on having a clean interface and design that resembled stock Android, and for many users, this is the reason why they bought a OnePlus in the first place, so switching it up isn't a great move. Even though Apple may be ditching Intel processors for good, Intel is still working on their next 11th gen Tiger Lake series. These are said to have faster speeds, improved graphics, and battery performance over their predecessor. These new processors were showcased at Intel's Architecture Day and will come out sometime later this year. But is it too little too late now that AMD's Ryzen processors are also showing up in laptops? That will be determined once they arrive. Fortnite just got banned from 1 billion devices. Where to start? On August 13th, Epic Games added a new direct payment option for users that gave a 20% discount, or you could go the other route through the Apple App Store payment and pay full price. Apple imposes a 30% cut on every app or microtransaction in the App Store. Using a direct payment option is a violation of Apple's App Store policy, but this was intentionally done. Epic Games knew that doing this would result in their game being taken off the App Store until something was worked out between the two companies. A few hours after, Fortnite put out an almost identical video to Apple's 1984 commercial for the new Macintosh. I'll leave the full video in the description below so you can take a look at it for yourself. Later that night, Google found out that the same thing was happening on the Android Fortnite app, and it was removed. Epic Games followed up with Apple by suing them for being anti-competitive. So what does this all mean for the kids cranking 90s out there? If you're on iOS, you can't install or update the game until it's back on the App Store. For Android users, you can directly install it from Epic's website or through the Samsung Galaxy App Store. Everyone on consoles, PC, or macOS isn't affected at all. Let's all just cool down the last story of the show by talking about Apple's new subscription bundles with the next new iPhones. A bunch of tiers for Apple services will be bundled together at a discounted rate. At the low end, Apple Music and Apple TV Plus. A mid-tier would add Apple News Plus, and more expensive ones would include Apple Arcade and iCloud storage, and possibly a new fitness subscription. There are some questions about if this is for individuals or for families on multiple accounts, and there's also no word on pricing yet. If you made it here to the end of the video, leave a comment letting me know if you like this new series. If you enjoyed this new Time for Tech episode, please give it a like as the YouTube algorithm will recommend my videos to more people. Also consider subscribing if you want to see more tech content like this every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Tech Device News.